been looking for you. Have you been looking for me? Many of you know me as Preacher Moss, comedian extraordinaire. Well, I'm no longer that man. Now, I'm Preacher Moss, the Zakat Collector. I'm here to bring Zakat back. And who better to do that with than the OGs of Zakat, Zakat Foundation of America. I'll be bringing together top scholars, community folks, economists, and celebrities to help demystify Zakat. Oh, and don't worry if you haven't paid your Zakat. I'll be coming by to pick it up personally. Me, Preacher Moss, the Zakat Collector. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. You know what it is. I'm Preacher Moss, host of the SOS and ShOUT show. And you know what today is. Today is Thursday, not just a regular Thursday. It's Throwback Thursday. And I hope, like I said, brothers and sisters, we can have a little fun day. The week's been a little heavy, but I wanted to move. And I thought of a concept. I thought it was funny when I thought of it. You know, I had to laugh, brothers and sisters, as a comedian, when I brought up this concept, when I thought of it, and I said, this is going to be our subject for today. But before we get to that, you know how we do. We want to get to our normal housekeeping. If you're here on the ShOUT show for the first time, guess what? This is a special day for you. Actually, it's every day a special day because we're on every day. That's right, we're a daily show. No one else is doing that except for like Al Jazeera. So here's the deal. On the ShOUT show, if you're a rookie, don't feel intimidated. Get in that comment section. Let us know who you are. Shout us out. We'll shout you up. You are amongst family. You are part of one of the most eclectic groups that are out there in the live stream world. And I'm talking about the ShOUT show family, the ShOUT show soldiers. So with that being stated, brothers and sisters, like I said, if you're new to the show, do us a little favor if you don't mind. Click the subscription button, click the notification button, click the like button if you like the show. Tell us your friends and neighbors that something positive is going on, something funny is going on, and that's the ShOUT show with me, Preacher Moss, every day. 6 o'clock Eastern Time, Central Time, 5 o'clock, and on the West Coast, 3 o'clock. All right, you even got a little taste there. Let me know how you guys thought about that trailer for this new series I'm doing called Zakat Curious. I hope you like it. I had a lot of fun doing that trailer, and this is going to be great. Interviewing all kinds of scholars about the issue of Zakat. Not give me the 2.5. No. We're going a little bit deeper, and we have a bevy of hosts who are going to give us some of the most enlightening thoughts on the idea of Zakat and charitable giving you have ever heard. Word, mark my word on that. Okay, so that part is out of the way. I hope you liked it. I might even show you guys the old trailer from back in the day that I originally did for the Zakat Collector. We call that a cell tape that led us up to this point. But before we even get into that, in fact, that'll be much later. Let me, without further ado, give you my stars in the building. Stars in the building. And I realize sometimes I call out stars in the building, but there's stars not on the in the comment section that are watching the show, so I want to show them some love as well. Okay, so here we go. Our shout out stars in the building. We always start out with Sister Ree. Sister Ree, thank you so much for being you and dedicating yourself to coming on the show. I appreciate you for the food. I appreciate you for the fellowship. We hope that you are feeling well. I made the dua for you today, and I hope that you and the entire Chase family are doing well. Remember, take care of yourselves. As we say in Islam, your body has rights. Listen to your body, okay? Listen to your body. Good shout out also to Mary Moss, who's on the mend. Mama San is home from the hospital, and she is her usual honoring, cantankerous, argumentative self. So I think we're on the road to recovery. Alhamdulillah. So, also want to give a shout out to the sidekick. That would be Miss Eleanor. Miss Eleanor. If there is a Cisco kid, then she is Pancho. If there's a Lone Ranger, then she is Tonto. So, brothers and sisters, I'm in a good mood, as you could say. As you can see, I'm in a good mood. But I want to say that I'm feeling good. I'm feeling spry. So let me even go for who else we got in the building today. Altaf Rashid, my main man. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I got Altaf because he came on laughing today. Altaf is our ambassador, our Canadian ambassador to the Shout Out Show. There will never be a Canadian ambassador to the show after Altaf. You are ambassador emeritus, my brother. You are ambassador emeritus. Thank you for tuning in. In case you guys didn't know, we still rocking the Ramadan 30 for 30. We are halfway through, brothers and sisters. Wait till that last 10 days. That last 10 days is going to be fire. Okay, who else we got? Who else we got here? All right. My brother, my brother, my brother. All black man, black man. Of course, I'm talking about JT, Johnny L. Thomas. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And JT has rocked with me this entire Ramadan, brothers and sisters. You got to give it up for that. Give it up for that, man. Rocking. I mean, he holding it down like, psh, I mean, he is holding it down for real. I appreciate my brother. He's just rocking with me, man, because this is something we used to do. And people go, is your brother Muslim? I know. Sometimes you gotta. I wonder. I said that brother's on his deen a little bit, but I'm here to tell you, my brother is my brother, and I'm here to tell you, he just respects the religion. He has his love for his brother, his compassion for his brother. He's like, you know what? I want to do this, and may he receive rewards for fasting during this month of Ramadan, just like everybody else. What's up, JT? Big ups to you. Who we got next? Let's see. Reese said that she is feeling better. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. And what else we got here? Ibrahim. What's going on, brother? Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You came on a good day today, Ibrahim. I got a great topic. Now, I don't normally say, it's a super topic. I got a funny topic today. I thought about this one. I mistyped it laughing so hard because it just cracked me up. Let me see. Oh, man. Thank you so much, man. That's right. Do not leave your shoes in the wudu area. Sometimes, man, a joke will last longer than you, man. I appreciate that, brother. Ibrahim, you made me feel good, man, that people remember the OG. Every once in a while, you got to have that. You appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. You love the intro, Ree? Yeah, that's for this new project. We trying to roll it out. We've been trying to roll it out since last year, but you know what? It's hard to shoot around COVID and things like that. And I got sick and I had school, and it's just all sorts of things. But alhamdulillah, I'm like, yo, we got this joint out, and I think it's gonna be fire. I think it's gonna be funny. That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, Ibrahim, I want you to stay on the show because I have something to ask you, and I'm gonna get into everybody's business a little bit. I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna get into your business a little bit because the topic requires not only that I ask questions, but that you give responses, and that you ask questions. Because I think this topic is something we can all relate to. Monji, what's going on, baby? I'm in town, man. I'm in town through Monday, brother. You want to grab something to eat? We got to break fast. We got to do iftar or something, brother. I'm on the show, I'm here from 6 to 6:30. So, whenever you want to do something, let's do something. We've been threatening for a while, man. First of all, peace and blessings to you and your family. Ramadan Mubarak. I hope everybody's doing well. You know how we do, brother. And let me give you the greetings. First and foremost, assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, Mungji he's a doer. That's what we call him in DC. He's a doer. He gets things done. And I love it. He's stealth with it, and he makes things happen. My main man, good to have you. And we got to give a shout out to our consultant producer. Of course, that would be Miss Sultana Whitfield, who's making this whole thing go. I didn't even have to start the show today. I kind of just said, Sultana, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and she just ran it. So this is a little precursor to the fact that the show's going to expand. Because now she is worked into the space where she understands the background. She can engineer the show. We're going to really have some fun. Satana, I guarantee you, we're going to have some fun. All right, all right. Love you too, Ot. Love you too, Ot. So let me get to this topic. Throwback Thursday topic. What was your first real job? Now, let me classify when I say your first real job, because I have to say this to some brothers. Your first real job is they didn't just give you money in hand, it was a check. And you and your boys, when you got your first check, you had to figure out who in the world was FICA. We actually thought that FICA was a real person because FICA just kept showing up. I'm like, yo, did we work with FICA? Why is FICA always getting some of my money? We like, yo, is FICA shaking us down? We didn't know. FICA, of course, was Social Security tax, but nobody told us. Nobody told us. And I mean like a real check, too. I mean, a check. Here's the difference when you have your real job and it's sort of a piece of a job. Your real job, you take your check to a real bank. When that it's that piece of a job, that suspect job, you cash your check at the liquor store. If you cash your check at the liquor store with frequency, chances are that wasn't your first real job. It was your first real check, but it wasn't your first real job. Okay, so we laid the ground rules out. I will start by saying that my first real job was I never showed up for work. My first real job, me and my big brother Rick, we decided we were going to work and make money and we were going to be millionaires. Our first real job, we actually got hired at McDonald's. The McDonald's right down the street from my mother's place, and we figured whatever they didn't pay us, we were going to make in food. We had a hustle. We were going to make a whole catering business out of the food we were going to steal from McDonald's. Okay, we had a catering business. We had it all hooked up, and so they took us down for orientation. People, the orientation was in the basement of the McDonald's. I don't know if you guys know how McDonald's works with the gas. It's all methane. So we go down the bottom of the McDonald's in the basement. It stank to the high heavens. It smelled like sadness down there. You know what I'm saying? So here's my thing. We go down there. We're trying to listen to these guys, give us the orientation, but they can't give us the orientation because we're like, it stinks down here. And the only thing I heard was the amount of money they were going to pay us, which was like $3.15. Yes, I am dating myself, brothers and sisters. $3.15. And at that point in time, Rick and I began to weigh our options. We could stay here and choke to death in this methane. We could sell drugs, or we could find another hustle. Obviously, we found another hustle. But my point is, we never showed up for that job. So my actual first real job was working at a retirement home for the widows of Army officers. Let me say it again. I worked at a retirement home for the widows of Army officers. I got the job, a hookup through my friend. His name was Kent Spice. We called him Spice. So Spice doing their Dexter Moores. We all worked at this little spot. And the hype of this job was that we were getting paid $3.79 an hour. And like you couldn't tell me anything. I was cool as the other side of the pillow, brothers and sisters. $3.79 an hour. And I'm like, yo, this is the best thing ever. I'm making $3.79. And the work wasn't hard unless you did dishes. Because when you did dishes, that stank. So when I say a first job, this is the first job where you actually have to do your time card. Like you have to clunk. That was the sound. Clunk, and then you put it up in your thing. And you have to sign off on your hours. So we did that. Did that job. And my first, it was an okay job. As a matter of fact, it was an okay job. I was making $3.79. I worked it my junior year, and I worked it part of my senior year. But it was a cool job. Besides, I went to military school, so it kind of just worked out. The only problem about working at this place was the woman who was the head waitress. Her name actually was Miss Eleanor. None of the kids like Miss Eleanor. None of the other workers like Miss Eleanor. And the only reason Miss Eleanor actually had that job and kept that job was that she had something on the manager. Like we never figured out what it was she had over the manager. I don't know if she practiced voodoo, but she had something over the manager. He would never fire her. And I'm saying this because we would work as waiters. If you didn't do the job of washing the dishes, you were a waiter and you had to take their food orders and bring it out. So here's the killer part. We would get tips, but Miss Eleanor would steal everybody's tips. She would steal everybody's tips. We knew. She'd be like, go talk. She was like the maitre d'. She'd be like, go over here. And that person would wind up giving her our tip and she wouldn't give it to us. So we were like, yo, why does she keep stealing our tips? Why does she have this job? 2 weeks before I quit that job, I figured why she had that job. You know what she would do? The guy I thought she had something over, she was practicing food over, they were splitting the tips. Go figure that. First job. So we got some people in the queue. What were your first jobs? JT, what was your first real job? Was it the Army or did you do something before that? Let me see here. Ibrahim says, my first job was a paper shredder at a Shamrock Security. Lasted 5 days. They paid me for 1 day. They said I didn't shred enough sheets. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to laugh. That's funny. Okay, here's the worst job I ever had. A guy talked me into this, and the reason he told me, he said, you can make $25 an hour easy. I'm like, word? He's like, yeah. I said, dude, this isn't selling drugs. And he goes, no, 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 you can make 25. He said, dude, you can make $75 in a day. And I'm like, word? He was like, yeah. He said, meet me here. And I remember I skipped soccer practice to go make this money. And I got there, and I looked at the address, and I'm like, this doesn't look right. Brothers and sisters, it was a funeral home. I was like, well, why we have me come to a funeral home? You know what the job was? Cutting dead people's hair. Cutting dead people's hair. And I said, dude, I don't cut dead people's hair. He goes, do you think anybody's going to complain? I was like, give me the clippers. So that was one of the other jobs I had. My first real job actually was out of college. And it was, and you'll find that your first real jobs, the first 3 or 4, are not real good jobs, brothers and sisters. They're real jobs, but not really good jobs. Anybody else got a job for me? Oh, Satana worked at your mama's daycare. Well, that's kind of. Did she pay you? Did you have a? Did you have to fill out an application? Oh, she said you don't recall getting paid. Well, then that wasn't a job. That wasn't a job. I mean, I tell the story, man. I tell, you know, my first couple real jobs were real bad jobs. Like real bad jobs. Like when your people tell you don't worry about it. Like one of my first real jobs out of college, it wasn't even college. It was freshman year. Freshman year, I finished my freshman year of college, come home, and then you're in a scramble because you're trying to make money, but you're on a tight schedule. You know, you just got home, you're going to have to leave for college. People don't want to hire you if they know you're going to leave in, 2, 3 months. I got this job, brothers and sisters, working for this moving company. Now, my friend Terrence Brown, who lived across the street, worked for this moving company. In fact, my cousin had come up for the summer. He worked for the moving company. So we're all working for this moving company, right? And the first day, the guys goes, beware. The guy's name was Pat. They said, Pat is crazy. He was a white guy. He drank a lot of milk, even though he was lactose intolerant. But Pat would drink milk, and nobody wanted to ride with him up front. You know why? Okay, so Pat would he was crazy. He was crazy. He was like nice, and then he was like a demon. Nice demon, demon nice. So we did the first couple of days, and everybody's like, he's a demon, man. I was like, no, he's not. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. He was nice for the first 4 days. That fifth day, brothers and sisters, he said we got a pickup. I'm like, okay. So we drive out to Andrews Air Force Base. Andrews Air Force Base. This is where the president lands, Air Force One, right? This is where they land, take off from Air Force One. Dig this one, brothers and sisters. We are at the airport at 6 something in the morning. Pat brings us coffee, donuts, I mean, he is the nicest guy in the world. He's like, "Would you like a donut?" I'm like, Pat, yes, I would like a donut. I'm like, everybody get don't Pat bought us donuts. And I'm like, we haven't worked. We've been here since 6:30. We haven't worked. It's 7:30. It's going on 8. And Pat is so calm. This is why he was calm, brothers and sisters. We saw a plane land in Andrews Air Force Base, wheel around, and we saw Pat get in the van and go out to the serviceman, the Air Force guy, and sign off on something. The plane flipped around and the door dropped down. And Pat yelled every derogative, profane word outside of the N word and let us know that playtime was over. This fool had gotten the job to unpack and deliver 22,000 pounds of air freight furniture. 22,000 pounds of air freight furniture. I left home at 6. I did not come home till almost 6 the next day. We did not come home. We literally had to unpack everything, put it in the truck, drive it to this house, come back. We did like 4 or 5 trips. It was the worst ever. And when I got my check, brothers and sisters. Let me be really clear. A lot of us did go to the liquor store to cash our checks, but it wasn't to cash our checks. We needed some drink. What we got? Oh, we got Sister Ika Walaikum Assalam Rahmatullahi Barakatuh talking about first job. She's doing her fresh catering business. Big up to Sister Ika. We hope it all went well. I forgot to pull that picture out. Oh, Ibrahim said, short back and sides. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what the funny part is? If you get it to lay down on the side and you give them a good shave, nobody really looks at their hair. The only time the hair gets tricky is if it's a fake hairpiece. You got to make sure it lays down. But as much as I ain't like cutting hair on dead people, um, it paid well. It paid well. But I couldn't do it too much. I was like, nah. And plus, I was playing sports, so. But it was a decent job. My dad always tells me about his first job. His job was like in the house. His job was to make sure that the furnace at the house always had wood. That was his job. He was like, man, he did it like a soldier, man. Because if he didn't come up with the wood, they couldn't cook. The house was cold, and he was like, hey, man, wherever that wood was, I had to go get it. It wasn't like they would run out of wood. Like they get a cord of wood, run it out, and then he had to be out on this fantastic journey, the incredible journey to go find wood, man. So fortunately, I didn't have to do that. Let me see here. Monday did security in college. In college, um, in college, I had a couple jobs. I worked at the YMCA in college, started my sophomore year. But I started telling jokes my freshman year. So I was getting, but that wasn't like your first real job. Like, yeah, go all day. Telling jokes is like, I'd be up on stage like 15 minutes and get like $20, $30. I wasn't working big gigs. I wasn't balling. Let's just say that. But I think it does go to prove that, that's, yo, assalamu alaikum. I'm Preacher Moss, comedian extraordinaire, but I like to add a new title to my name. I'm Professor Preacher Moss. You know why? Because I just graduated. Wait a minute, let me get this out of here. This is it. Okay. Um, I'm Professor Preacher Moss, and it's come through the courtesy and the blessing of the Muhammad Ali Scholarship, which came through Bayan Islamic Graduate School. Now, listen, I know a lot of you people are thinking, can I do it? Yes, you can do it. This is the part where I know I'm supposed to say it's easy. It's not easy. Listen, it was easy to get this degree. Trump would be a mufti. I digress. Listen, though, for you brothers and sisters that are interested, go to bayanonline.org and you could be like me. Put yourself in the picture for Islamic education. Wait a minute, there's the picture right there. Sound like everybody. Take care. Preach them all. All right, everybody had a little technical difficulty, so I apologize. We got some stars in the building from Masjid Muhammad. We got Lyndon Bilal, my main man. Lyndon, I was supposed to work a DC summer job, but I'm not going to tell you what I actually did because my mom is watching this show. But when I see you, I'll tell you. Otto said his first job was working at a HMV. I remember those back in the day in Toronto. I remember those. That's when they had records and CDs and all that type of stuff. Yeah, I remember HMV. HMV, yeah, with the pink letters. Did it have pink letters? Monty said he did security work in college. I I had work, but I lost that work. Let me see. When the carnival came to town, we would help them set up and take it down. That's real work, man. That's real work. I appreciate that, Linda. I hope that you're doing well, man. You're having a blessed Ramadan. Your fast is going well. Please give your family my salams, brother. Good to see you on the platform. My mother says she worked as a soda jerk, but you know what? She worked at her family store. I think you need to say that. You worked at your family store and you ain't make no money. You, Satana, could start a support group of children that worked at their parents' businesses and didn't make any money. Yep, the pink letters. I thought that was it. I thought that was it, man. You know, the one job I did have that I thought was kind of fun, I can say it was my first job, my first real job. My senior year, after I left that thing, in fact, right after I graduated, I worked at the movie theater, AMC Greenbelt Movie Theater. I think it was like AMC 8 theaters. It had 8 theaters before they got like, movie theaters had like 32 screens. But I'm going to tell you, it was 1984. It was the most fun time. Brothers and sisters, a lot of movies came out. But Purple Rain came out in 1984. And I'm here to tell you, there was no better time to be working at a movie place, tearing tickets, doing concessions, than when Purple Rain came out. Because that lasted all the way through the summer. Purple Rain. Indeed. So, Tana, what's the first real job you had, Satana? I mean, once you finished getting exploited at your mom's daycare. Satana don't want to come on for that one. JT, I know you on the line. I know you got a good funny one. Jobs in Milwaukee were hard to find. Okay, office supply warehouses. Okay, all right. I had to pull that out of you, but it's okay. So listen, before we go, watch this one. Miss Eleanor, what was your first job?
Working in the cleaner.
Working in the cleaner. See how it is when you working from your mama's house?
Make those shirts and pants and stuff come down off the rack.
Yeah, she was taking the shirts and pants off the rack. Okay, I got you. So listen, before we get too far gone, let me give a shout out to our sponsors. First and foremost, we want to give a shout out, of course, to BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. Again, that's BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. Let me say it 3 times. BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. I want you to go there, check out the site, get some information. It's not just about financial advising, but helping people take their money and make their money work for them. You know how hard you work for your money. Make your money work just as hard for you. If you don't want to go to the website, call 1-800-679-3175. Again, that's 1-800-679-3175. Now, also want to give a shout out to Bayan Islamic Graduate School. Again, that's Bayan Islamic Graduate School. You can go to bayanonline.org. Again, that's bayanonline.org, and you can find out what it's about. It's not just about religious knowledge or theological learning. It is how to take your belief, your religion, and apply it in the world whereby you make the world a better place. Doesn't get much easier than that. So listen, brothers and sisters, I've had a wonderful time. I got to get out. Oh, and I want to make sure I give a shout out for the universaltitle.com, which is available anywhere you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I think we released episode 4. If you go to Apple Podcasts and look up the Universal Title, you will find all of them in order. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will, inshallah, be taping the final episode on Monday for the universal truth. And let me say a shout out to America Abroad Media and PRX, as well as the Muhammad Ali Foundation. Thank you guys for having me aboard. So, with that being said, I got to roll. So normally, I got to roll because, the logo goes off the screen, and then I go over and I click my little thing. But that was a cue, Sultana. All right. I had to mess with. Listen, you guys have been lovely. We'll be back tomorrow with Friday Funnies. Have a blessed Thursday. And as much as I said about those first jobs, you know what? I'm not going to demean those jobs by saying that I wasn't excited to be working. I was excited to be working. I was excited to be making my own money. And in my own way, you know what? It made me feel like a man. It made me feel like an adult. All right? Shout out to FICA. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hey everybody, this is your brother Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your shout out show experience. We'll be back with the next show, the next shout out show. A simple ask before you go, please help your brother out. Click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from Tarif. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out tarifatar.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.